Mike McCool here. I'm in Royal Examiner Studio B today, and with me is Feldhauser and Junior Kisner. They're here to talk about the upcoming, or hopefully upcoming, Fireman's Carnival that normally happens in July. And Haas, why don't you tell us a little bit about the carnival in general before we get started about whether we're going to have it or not?
The fire department, the predecessor to the Fundraisers Fire Department, has had a carnival every year since 1929. That was our first year of actually having a carnival. They contracted with Hendrix merry-go-round and minstrel players to come in, and that was the start of a carnival. And since then, we've rented out, made deals with ride providers.
Right.
And we've had a carnival, at least one every year. One year we had two, in fact. Before that, from 1892 to when they formally had a carnival, they still had fundraiser every summer.
Sure.
They called it horse and pony show, horse show, lawn party, different things. And that was always down at the field where the courthouse is now. The courthouse was built in 1937. So we had to leave that field and go somewhere else. The carnival then went to the Weaver and Kipps lot that's on Roll Avenue, across from the old town hall. And from there we went to corner of Prospect and Jackson. The carnival was there a few years. Then it moved to the E. Wilson Morrison Elementary School playground. I was there for a few years, and then in 68 they moved to what we use now down at Bing Crosby Stadium, that area down there.
Yeah. I just think it's strange when we start talking about history, about, well, we had that field there where the courthouse, the town was, you don't realize how small things were and how few people. But like you said, we had a whole carnival in the parking lot of E. Wilson Morrison. It's on like, we can barely park two cars there sometimes. And you wonder, and we just don't really realize that how things have grown, and we think it's small now. I always like history, and I look through those books over at the Warren Heritage Society, and you go back and look at all the carnivals and things like that, and you just wonder about it.
This will be our 52nd year at Bing Crosby Stadium.
Well, I know people look forward to it every year. So are we going to look forward to it this year?
Yeah,
this looks like a non-committal answer.
That's iffy.
We're getting some conflicting reports from our contractor. One owner tells us that, we're not coming. And then the other owner tells us, well, we haven't decided yet. We're going to make a decision in June. But we're going to have something. We have a meeting next Thursday night, the board of directors, to decide exactly what and, how many days we're going to do it. We normally do it 10 days, but we might reduce that some. It just depends. But at least we're going to have the cook building open, the food building, the Pepsi stand, and we're going to play bingo and sell pull tabs.
Right. And we know and one thing we know you're going to have, and that's our Fireman's Relish.
Relish for sure.
Absolutely.
We got to have that. I mean, it doesn't make a carnival unless everybody stands in line and get their quart jars of relish.
And the tentative date for making a relish is June 5th and 6th. So we're not getting the helpers that we usually get. So if anybody's willing to help us make it, just show up at the firehouse.
So if you make it, you get your name on the list to buy it, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, we can do that.
You get first dibs on the relish this year. Because I know it always, as the thing goes, they have, we got plenty. Then when you get ready to go out, we sold out.
Well, we are going to have the parade, and we are going to go through with the fireworks on Thursday.
Okay, that's locked in?
That's pretty much locked in. That's pretty solid. And a lot of people will come down to the carnival lot. We'll open up the cook building early.
Right.
And they will drive through and get their supper for everybody, for the family. And then go up along the parade route and park and watch the parade go by and eat supper. So we're at the cook building by 5:30 every night, getting ready. Even if the doors aren't open and it's after 5 and you want some relish, knock on the back door. We'll sell it to you out the back door.
There you go. Well, one thing about that, we can still. I don't think social distancing is going to go away anytime soon.
No.
So parades and driving through to get your food at the cook building is going to be something that complies with our social distancing. So we can always plan to do that. I mean,
We don't know what it's going to look like. It'll look different. It'll be different. We know that, but
it'll be fun.
it'll be fun. We'll find a way to do it.
That's what we got to do. We got to think positive. We will find a way to do it and get it done.
Yeah.
Get her done. That's what I always say.
Yeah, we have to do something. We've lost so much with bingo being shut down, and we have a tentative date of around the 1st of June to open back up, but that's still not set in stone.
Well, that bingo, when you drive by if you don't attend and you drive by the fire department there on a Friday night, my gosh, your parking lot's packed.
Yeah, we usually
A lot of people go into this bingo and you make money at it.
Oh, sure.
It's a good fundraiser for us. Another good fundraiser for us that we have lost is the C.W. Turner Banquet Hall. We had that thing rented from 1st of April every weekend through August, I think it was, and that we had to cancel. We had to cancel each one of them.
Right.
Some of them said, well, let's just reset the date when you get open. Some of them said, give you my money back. But we've lost a good row of revenue there. We rent it during the week and we rent it on the weekend. Weekend's the biggie.
Right.
But it was rented every weekend.
Well, and we know the budget's going to be tightened up coming from the governments. I think that we know that money's going to be reduced. And we've had over the years a reduction of volunteers.
Oh, absolutely.
So, if you're sitting at home and ever thought about being a fireman, maybe now's the time to give me a call. You can always find something for people to do, can't you?
We could always find something for you to do, yes.
Yeah, well, so you don't have you're not going to climb ladders and put out fires, but there's a lot of things a volunteer fireman can
Sure
do.
is.
Yes, indeed. And if you want relish and you can't, sometimes it's kind of hard to find a parking place down there.
Right.
And you can't fight the traffic, or you can't walk up the little hill there. Come after 5 o'clock and drive up the gravel road to the cook building. Don't block the road and knock on the back door. We'll sell you the relish.
I thought you were going to say if you bought a dozen jars, you'd deliver it.
Yeah. That can be kind of hard to do.
Well, if that's what it boils down to, we're gonna Grubhub it. Mm-hmm. Call Grubhub. They're gonna deliver it.
Well, as late as I guess it was just before Christmas, I shipped a pint over to Maryland. We shipped it as far as Texas. We've shipped it up to Maine one year.
You can be like George McIntyre and his donuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're gonna see boxes piled up at the fire department shipping relish all over the country.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna start selling this stuff on Amazon if they don't.
We freeze it solid and ship it overnight so that they get it the next day and still cold in the middle.
It's great. It's great. Are you going to ever tell anyone? Do you have this recipe locked up somewhere, or are we going to be able to? When is that going to be divulged so we can publish this recipe? And I don't think that'll ever happen. Do you? I mean,
I've told lots of people the recipe.
Oh yeah, but you always leave out an ingredient or two because it never tastes the same, does it?
No. But you start with 1,500 pounds of cabbage and 1,500 pounds of onion, 14 gallons of mustard, and it'll go from there.
Taste test.
The taste test,
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Yeah, it's always a little different every time, but
And each barrel is different. We make what we call a barrel. It's a food service container of relish, and whoever's mixing it, I tend to mix mine a little hot. But as we're mixing it, we take little samples and get other people to taste it and say that's right, or no, that needs more vinegar, or that needs more of this.
After you taste so many barrels, it all tastes the same.
it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good.
That's right.
So, is there anything else going on at the fire department that we want to do? And just if you don't want to go to these things, just send them a check. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can always do that. You take cash donations.
Our income from the fundraiser of the carnival sets the tone for our budget for the rest of the year.
Right.
It's not the only fundraiser we have, but it sets the tone for the rest of the year, what we can figure we can handle and do. We have lost money from the rental revenue. We've lost money from bingo, big money. And we've been able to stay open. If you have a fire, we'll still respond.
That's right.
If you need an ambulance, call. We're there. Or they're there. I'm not there anymore. But this carnival will be different. We know that. We have picnic tables underneath that pavilion. Well, we know social distancing. We're going to have to spread those out and put them out in them. So you come down and get your hot dog, hamburger, and find a picnic table, sit down and eat with your family. We'll have to spread those out for social distancing. And, we may have to make some arrangements in the cook building so there's a sneeze guard between us and the people. With cough guard, I guess, piece of plastic.
But you guys are adaptive. I mean, that's what being a fireman's all about.
Yeah.
Another fundraiser that we have is our annual mail-out campaign, which we're getting ready to send out the letters, which has been impacted by the virus. The people the company that normally does this here in town for us, the Blue Ridge
Opportunities.
Workforce Opportunities, usually stuffs and labels and puts all this together for us. Well, they're not open now. So a bunch of volunteers have stepped in and have done it. We ran into a little bit of a problem with this piece of software that threw a glitch in it. And sometimes not all the names match up with the addresses.
So if we get a letter that's made out to somebody else, just ignore it. Just send it.
If it's to your address.
If it's to your address, just put a check in there and
That's
send
right.
it.
That's right. And we have to do something because even if we get back to bingo the middle of June, we've done lost over $100,000.
Yeah.
So be generous with that check as much as you can.
Well, and just think about your pretend that you've been playing bingo all along.
That's right.
You never win anyway. Just send the money.
Yeah. Either way, it works for me.
Seems like always the same person wins those games all the time. A little old lady that just real quiet in the back there. She all of a sudden you hear her squeak up, bingo.
We normally have over 100 people every Friday night.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's a lot of fun to play bingo. I see all them. I see them with their, with all their superstitions and their little trinkets. I said,
Little good luck charms sitting around, and they'll have a bunch of cards that I couldn't even look over, and they'll scan them real quick and be reading a book in between numbers or crocheting.
That's right.
I couldn't keep up with it.
But bingo it's more than just bingo. It's a social event. And people do enjoy going out. It's like going out to breakfast at LD's or at Mom's or the hometown diner or something.
Yeah.
You see people, you meet them, you sit down and you talk. And I think that's what people are missing and so is the carnival. It's a social event. You see people there that you never see probably all year long. Once a year.
I have some relatives I see once a year at
the carnival. They come crawling out, right?
But this carnival is going to be different. We're going to have it. We're going to have the fireworks. We're going to have the parade. We're going to have the relish. And we're hoping the rides will be there. Well,
I tell you and I don't know if you know this little tidbit of information, but we videotape the Fireman's Parade every year. Not last year, the year before. And I don't know what drove the traffic to it, but there was 17,000 views of the Fireman's Parade.
Wow.
Now, who in the world is going to... Where'd that come from? I mean, normally there's several thousand, but it was just like spiked up there like 17,000. Maybe YouTube had a glitch in their account, analytics or something, but it was amazing that the amount of traffic we got that watched the Fireman's Parade.
Yeah.
So...
It'll be interesting this year too. We don't have any idea
see who shows up,
and
who will come. Right.
A lot of places aren't simply going to do it.
Right. And I think people are going to get out and about. Once it won't take but a few days. once people start moving a little bit more, people's attitude will come back and say, well, we can do this. We'll be careful, but we can do it. I think we'll do it. And the fire department can always use support from the community, which they get. This year, we're asking just for a little bit more cooperation.
Right.
Dig a little deeper. I mean, take some of that stimulus money we got,
That's right.
and keep 1,000 and send 200 to the fire department. How's that?
That'll work for me.
That'll work from you, I'm sure. Well, we'll try it. All right. Anything else, Junior or Haas, we want to talk about this morning?
That's about all
You
I
covered
got.
it all?
Yeah. I think
So we're going to have
What we wanted to say anyway.
we're going to have a carnival. We just don't know
We're not sure exactly what it'll be like, but we'll have Carnival. We will have Relish.
if we just stand around and eat hot dogs. We're going to have a carnival,
We're
right?
gonna have fireworks that night.
Yep.
We're gonna have a parade. We're gonna have a carnival.
That's great.
It'd be a heck of a note to break the. It's never been a year, even during the wars, that we didn't have a carnival.
It was different, but we had it.
Different, but we had it.
Right. Well, I think it's good when they start seeing the fireworks go off. People like that type of stuff. It's just a good community event, and we really appreciate everything that you guys do there, and all the other volunteers that work at the fire department, and all the other things that we have. A lot of these community organizations that are in the same boat that the fire department is in.
They are,
and we need to support these organizations because they do make a tremendous impact on our community.
The crew that was on duty today was not at the firehouse when we left to come down here. They're on a cardiac arrest call. We save lives.
You call, they come running.
Yeah.
They always come when I call them, and rain or shine, they're there.
That's
And
right.
I got a big smile on their face, and they jump right to it and do what they got to do.
Yeah.
So
This will be my 52nd carnival that I've helped with. And it'll be different, but it'll be there.
In my 35th one.
well, you're not as old as Haas.
No, not quite.
Yeah. He's a little bit younger.
Well, Haas is on the Christmas tree lot as well too. So we'll talk about that as it gets closer to Christmas.
Yeah. We've already started planning for it. And
All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
And we'll keep everybody posted what's going on.